Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Benton City Council meeting for October 3rd, 2023. I'm now calling the meeting to order. Okay, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance, and let's see who I can pick on tonight. I think I might call on Lynn Burton.
We pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Burton. Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Wadsworth.
Here.
Councilman Sindrito.
Here.
Councilman Reed.
Here.
Councilwoman Funk.
Here.
Councilwoman Alcazar.
Here.
Okay. All present. Okay. We will be looking at the consent agenda, which consists of the special city council meeting and workshop meeting minutes for September 11th, the regular city council meeting and minutes for 19th of September, and bills and communications.
I do have a comment, under your meeting minutes for the 19th, it says that the consent agenda consisted of the special workshop meeting minutes. Were those approved or not? And if so, why are we reapproving them?
I don't know, were they approved earlier? I don't think they were at the first meeting.
No, that's the first time.
Okay,
Okay, so then is that a typo in the page 1 say of 9?
I'm not sure where you're seeing this.
September 19th, council meeting regular minutes. First page, 1 of 9. It says special council workshop meeting minutes for September 11th to approve the special city council workshop meeting minutes of the Benton City Council held on September 11th, 2023. That is in the consent agenda or listed as part of the consent agenda for that
Yes.
meeting.
Yes, that's correct.
So they were approved.
No, that's our. They were presented in this packet.
Okay, they're in the meeting minutes for the 19th. Listed in the consent agenda under the 19th.
Okay,
So is that something that needs stricken from those minutes?
I'm not sure because this is September, so. So Margaret, do you have an explanation? You typed the minutes, so.
I'll take a look at it, and if it's incorrect, I will correct it.
So we don't know whether we are going to strike this.
Well, if we're approving them tonight,
Yeah,
then we can strike it. But if we've already approved them, I don't know that we need to reapprove them. So,
I'm just not sure we have approved them.
They have not been approved.
Okay,
okay, so then that needs to be stricken from the consent agenda and the meeting minutes from last meeting. And if nobody else has anything, I'll move to approve as amended.
I just have one question. I don't believe I was on Zoom.
Does it say that?
Yeah.
I think that these are just the first time we've had them in here.
Excuse me. was sitting here.
Yeah, you were in the room.
It says I was on Zoom.
Margaret, can you look at the last meeting minutes and see if they were
September 19th.
approved previously?
Okay, I'll look at them. But I don't have them in front of me right now.
Oh, well, we need to know whether to strike this or not. Can someone pull up the meeting minutes from the last meeting that we had, which was September 19th?
If we're not able to have confirmation from the secretary who made the minutes, can we just pull these and approve them at the next meeting
Yeah, I guess so. That could be,
to allow time for the administration to review them?
yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the first time they came up because I remember reviewing them just recently, so.
Okay, I'm just reading it as it's written. So Madam Mayor, then I motion to, or retract my motion, I motion to approve or pull these minutes and the September 11th meeting minutes
Okay,
and bring them back at the next regular council meeting.
all right, we can do that.
And then I will motion to approve the remaining vouchers in the consent agenda.
Okay. All right. Is there
A second,
Okay, all in favor?
Sandra, do I?
Wadsworth, I.
Rude eye.
Funk eye.
Alcazar, I.
Okay, motion carries. Okay, then the next item is the approval of the agenda. And we have a large number of changes here to add to the agenda. So the first one that I have is the estimates for the tree service that was postponed last time. And those are handed out separately. And I believe Jose will talk about this. And this should probably be for, is this for items of approval? I think we've discussed it, so we just needed the bids.
That is correct, Mayor.
Okay, so that will be item I2.
Sarah, are you able to view these?
I don't have them available. They weren't provided to me.
Were they emailed out?
They're also not in the public record as far as I can see in the packet.
No, they were just handed out prior to the meeting.
Yeah, and I did not realize she was appearing via Zoom, so I did not email them to her.
Okay, so do you want to table this till another time? Or do you want to go ahead?
I'd like to table it to another time because I'd also like to make sure that the information is presented in our agenda packets for the public to be able to see in advance of the meetings too, please.
Okay. So we'll table that to the next council meeting, next regular council meeting.
I don't think this is actually even on the agenda for tonight, though.
It's not. She was making an
Got it.
amendment to
Got it.
it.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, then the next change that was requested is a discussion item for the street sweeping contract. And that will be item H2. street sweeping. The third item that needs to be added is a discussion on the union negotiations, which we need people to attend that, so and schedule. So that is going to be item 3 for discussion. H3. Then we have special meeting for the results of investigations. And that will be also just setting a date when we can all be here to hear the discussions from the investigator. So we'll put that as item H4. Then looks like I have the union negotiations twice. So I think we're okay. This may be the other thing that we're working with the union, the grievances. I think we do need that as well. Is that your understanding, Mr. Hyde?
I'm going to suggest that it may be that that could be something that could be related to the investigation report. And so if we had a meeting where that report was given, there would be an opportunity for council to at least discuss. And I would ask that that be an executive session, because we would want, we have WCIA attorney as well as the city attorney.
Right, okay, so
I'm sure we give it information as we can.
okay, so we just need to set dates for both then, for both actions.
Well, if there were council members who wanted to participate in that, that could actually be done outside the meeting, setting of meetings. It's an exception to the Open Public Meetings Act.
Oh, so that we would call an executive session to discuss this?
No,
No, to set the timing?
if the in the discussion here today could be finding out which council members wanted to participate in that, and then a meeting could be set for that purpose that does not need to be an open public meeting. It's an
Right,
exception to the
okay.
statute.
So that is a separate thing. I'm just going to use it as item 5.
Well, I was thinking it was 3. What did you have for?
Okay, so you're going to include that, the union negotiations versus the grievance process?
No, I was going to suggest that the grievance matters could be something that would be tied to the investigation. I was thinking that that was the case. Now, maybe not. Why don't we, let me throw this out to you. It may be that we need more meetings than we're knowing we need right this minute.
Can I suggest that we have an executive session to talk about this further?
That would be appropriate. We didn't have an executive.
I'm just trying to
session.
set the agenda. So
Yep.
if you want it as an executive session,
We could.
we could.
We could. I mean, all I was expecting at this point was to have setting a date for an executive session on the investigation. And then the other one was to find out which council members wanted to participate.
Right,
And
in the union negotiations.
correct.
Okay, I'm gonna put / union negotiations / other. That way it'll be both.
So no executive session.
No,
If the council
unless-
has questions that might need it, but I wasn't contemplating that. I was thinking if we had we will have an executive session meeting when the council can all do that.
Be together, yeah.
And we will
Yeah.
have, and that will be there'll be a lot of times for discussion, I think, at that time.
Okay, so we're just mainly getting volunteers and
Dates.
dates. Okay. All right. That's all I had. Does anyone else have anything to add to the agenda?
Oh, ma'am.
No?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to accept the amended agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Gender, I.
Wadsworth, I.
Reed, I.
Okay.
Alcazar, I.
Okay. Motion carries. Okay, the next is visitor comments. Do we have any visitor comments today? Hearing none? Okay. We'll just move forward. All right.
I raised my hand. What happened?
Oh, I didn't see you. I'm sorry. Okay, Dan, this is, Dan Decker, and he has 3 minutes. So go ahead, please.
I have two questions. Let me pop the other window open here. Diana, I asked you about the mistreatment of city employees, and you said you would look into it. I don't know what's going on. Have not heard a one about that. Interesting that after I talked to city employees today, nothing has happened. I'd like to know why. I'll bet the city employees would like to know why. The second question is citizen action form. I filed that thing on 4/25 of this year. Zip, not one word from the city attorneys, not one word from the mayor. Isn't that interesting? Well, then if you have the form, why do you even put it out there? If you're not going to act on it, what the heck is the issue? I'm sorry, folks. I've sent all the council members this. This is absolutely just disgusting the way the city is treating the maintenance workers down there. I don't care whether it's winter, summer, fall, whatever. The way this city is treating the employees. If I was them, I would file a complaint with L&I immediately, and I would sue this city till their pants fell off. This is absolutely disgusting the way this is going on. There's not a one of you people sitting there at that council meeting or in public that would tolerate this kind of stuff. I just can't. I cannot believe a city would treat their employees like this. I yield.
Okay, thank you for your comments, Mr. Decker. Okay. Anyone else have anything to add? Okay. Hearing none, we will move on then to the regular staff reports. The first is the Benton City Business License Report. It's in your packet. The cannabis report, I think, is in the packet. Did we get that in? The cannabis report.
I don't know.
I don't see it.
Okay, we don't have that in your packet. I don't know who has it. All right, then code enforcement report. Jenny McCombs. Jenny, did you want to speak tonight?
I do not have a code enforcement report for tonight. I'm still working. Probably better. I'm sorry, I do not have a code enforcement report ready for tonight. That program that was approved is getting up and running, so I'm getting everything logged into there. So I will give one at the next meeting. And then from then on, I'll do it the first meeting of the month. Otherwise, busy. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
All right, thank you. Summer, fall program, Kyle Spees.
Good evening. So summer and fall program report, I don't have any specific numbers, but Benton City Nights we just had last Friday, and it was one of our more successful events. We did karaoke and played games. And then event that's coming up next week that was very popular last month was bingo night, and we had the community center packed, like all the tables full of people. So we're expecting that to be big next week. And we're continuing down the list of events that we scheduled for the year, and it's been a success so far.
That's great. Okay, council committee meeting reports.
Nothing to report yet. All my meetings are coming up.
I attended the Benton County Mosquito Control Board meeting September 25th. It sounds like we still had a couple cases with some horses and some human cases with the mosquitoes. Obviously, with warmer weather, we're going to continue to have some of the mosquito issues. They are getting some new vehicles, putting some stuff out to get ramped up for next year. Otherwise, everything's kind of in the same old.
Okay. Anyone else?
I attended the Kiona Irrigation District meeting on September 20th of 2023. They have decided the shut off for water will be October 16th because we're getting into the colder weather. And they're working with Benton Irrigation District on helping get their GI system up and running and locating the irrigation lines in the shut off valves throughout the city.
Great. I do have something to report. I've been, for the past several weeks, contacting the cities that have orbital markers, and we are trying to establish some interplanetary games. They plan to, I know Richland has bought in for sure. We're trying to find out the status of the Prosser monument and the Kennewick one. So hopefully I should hear back from them at some point. And with the fall program, what we've decided, I think I might have mentioned that we are going to put out a survey. I have a number of scientific lectures that are proposed. And I have the number from a gentleman who's retired from NASA, who decided, he decided what was going on to the payloads and that sort of thing. So I'll be working with him and Trevor McDuff. We have a number of things like, we'll talk about the solar system. We can talk about Uranus. We can talk about a number of things like what is a telescope? How does a telescope work? And there's always, the deep space James Webb telescope and what the latest findings are from that. And a number of like basic geology, hydrology. A lot of people are interested in the rivers, where they have been and where they're going. And so things like that, we're going to come up with a survey, and hopefully we can talk Wendy into putting that out for us, and seeing what kind of survey we get back from the public. Kyle's going to be talking to his people tomorrow night, and we're going to try to combine all of those lists and see which ones come up as the most likely ones, and then we'll pick a few of those to start the series, but that'll probably start in January because all of the Friday nights are already booked at the during October or November or December, it's kind of hard to get into the community center, so. Okay. So then there is no executive session here tonight, so we have, next, we have items for discussion. Oh, we have the grant writer report. Sorry, Megan, are you on? No, she's not on tonight. Okay. All right. Okay, items for discussion. The first is Benton City Revitalization Organization Assistance. Kyle Spees is going to be speaking on that.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
So this last month, we had a pretty great turnout for the Benton City Revitalization Organization. Some things that we accomplished this last month is Len helped us build 3 more picnic tables down at the boat launch park. And lots of people are raving about all the tables and stuff down there, but they have been asking for garbage cans. So that's something that we figured we need to work with the city on, specifically for like maintenance and removal of the trash. We can probably work together as a revitalization to get the garbage cans established, come up with a way that we don't have to actually fasten it to the ground, because I know that that takes more permits, digging holes out there. But as far as the receptacles go, we can probably provide them, but we would need assistance on the maintenance side to remove the trash. Other things that we're doing right now. So we are in the process of adopting Highway 225 past the rural area, basically all the way out to the roundabout to clean up that area. So that doesn't really require any assistance from you guys, but that's just something we're working on. One of the bigger projects we are working on is light pole banners down Main Street, and this updating or fixing the speaker system. So there is an existing speaker system, but it doesn't work. So we are trying to pull together some quotes on that repair, but it's looking like it'll be larger than our budget would allow for. So we would be asking for assistance with that if we wanted to move down that path. And then the last thing, some community members brought up that the like art statues, the mascot statues that towns have. So Prosser has their horses that are painted by artists. So we're working on getting some quotes for basically art statues of bears. And that was another thing that it might be something that we might need to split the price with the city if we wanted to do that. And we'd do some kind of art contest to find artists locally that would want to paint them kind of for free advertisement, basically. So those are kind of the discussion things I wanted to bring up. And then if you guys are interested in any of them, I'll move forward with getting some better quotes, and you guys will have more information.
Didn't Miss Gordon bring up about getting trash cans down at that park? Did that ever get anywhere?
I
Because
don't
I know
think
that
so,
she was
yeah.
pretty adamant about,
Yeah, we need bigger.
you guys, I
ones for
think,
sure.
made a motion to.
I could swear we have already approved
Yeah.
like trash cans for that location, and I was gonna ask the rest of the council if they remember that.
There was 4 trash cans.
I think so. It was a significant number. Put them around the parking lot, I think. So I believe that's already been motioned and approved in the previous meeting minutes. They've just never been bought.
So I think, so specific words on that was permanent garbage cans. So I think that what's out there is just like the metal cans you can buy from Home Depot that can move around and aren't attached to anything.
No,
I haven't
we were
gone-
buying decorative ones with lids and stuff.
I was gonna say, I think they were.
Yeah, I think they were supposed to be.
Right.
So whatever's out there is probably some sort of temporary measure, but my memory's failing me on this one, but I seem to think
I'm pretty sure that was.
she showed
Yeah.
kind of those wire covered
Like the ones we
ones.
have at the park.
Yes.
Yeah, put the top on it.
Is that the same kind you're looking for?
Something like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could swear those were already approved many meetings ago, but it's been a long time now.
Yeah. So can I direct our maintenance crew to please order some additional cans? And if you want to meet with Kyle, please do so, so you're clear on what he wants. Is that all right? Jose?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is item H2, street sweeping. So Jose,
Yeah, so, good evening. I want to talk to council regarding street sweeping. So I believe, we got approval for street sweeping for an initial cleanup with 2 sweeping trucks, and then after every cleanup was going to be a lower amount. And we went ahead and got approval for that. Unfortunately, the 2 trucks that they sent out here are not capable of sweeping the curb and gutter because of how bad the curb and gutter, all the debris that's been piling up, and then the rain and the wind and stuff, the extra leaves. So there's going to be some additional cost for street sweeping, somewhere around the $2,000 to $3,000 range is what I was told. So I had brought that up to the mayor's attention. She wanted to bring it up into discussion for today, and then she was directing me to look into some low interest loans. Possibly the city might be able to get to then pursue maybe purchasing our own street sweeper, even if it's something used, or but so the city of Prosser went through USDA loan process to get their street sweeper. Unfortunately, I haven't still received any information on the point in contact that they use for that. So I just want to get a little bit more direction, I think, is what me and the mayor were hoping for. And maybe come back next council meeting with either some estimates to finish out the tree sweeping that we started, and possibly even look into low interest rate loans for street sweeper.
so Jose, can you please refresh our memory on how much we paid for this initial street sweeping?
The initial street sweeping, I believe, was $3,100, and that was 2 sweeper trucks with a total of 8 hours. The sweeping company actually came in at 6 in the morning and left at 6 p.m. in the evening. So they actually worked 12 hours trying to sweep, and like I mentioned, they just had a heck of a time trying to sweep our curb and gutter. There's some trouble areas that have a lot of pine needles, a whole bunch of leaves, dirt, debris, and stuff like that.
I thought we had approved something like $3,000 or $4,000 for this initial.
Yeah, the initial cleaning was 3,100 and some change.
Yeah, and now we have to pay another 3,000. So 2,000 to 3,000 to finish it with a bigger truck. So I thought, if we're gonna have to pay this kind of money every time we want the streets swept, maybe we should start looking at getting a low interest rate loan and paying it on time, over a couple of years or whatever, to keep the costs down, but at least we'd have one when we needed it.
Madam Mayor, may I have the floor?
Yes, you may.
Jose, question, was this just a miscalculation, or are they actually undermining the original quote that they gave us? I'm trying to figure out why these quotes double the original price that he gave us. Can you elaborate on?
Yeah, so I think they misfitted the job itself. They they thought they were gonna be able to do with two of their smaller trucks. And they weren't able to accomplish the task, and they worked over the allotted amount that we were priced
Did they,
for.
did they physically come to Benton City and drive a couple of the streets?
Yeah, they drove and did a like an initial walkthrough with Sergio. And they looked some of the trouble areas with 7th Street, 13th and 14th Street. We have a lot of pine needles and stuff like that on that area.
So my question is, this company not honoring their original quote with us, even though it was their mistake? I
pretty
mean, doing
much, that's pretty much
quoting
it.
us one thing for an entire product and then kind of halfway doing it and then coming back and asking us to double. In my eyes, that's not a really good use of city funding. And to be honest, I'm not quite at all comfortable with doubling just because they can't honor their original quote. So if we have a signed quote for them, maybe city management needs to call them and narrow this down a little bit better.
Okay.
I know this is no fault of yours, but whether this company honestly made a mistake or they're not honoring their quote, either way, that's not our problem to double the cost. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It totally does, and I agree.
Any other questions on that?
Well, I was going to throw in my 2 cents and be the bad guy here. So 4 years ago, we had a city crew that would spend 2 or 3 days and go around with the backhoe and shovels and pick up the big debris. That hasn't happened for one reason or another over the last several years. And maybe it's time that we go back to that. Just to get that cleaned up enough that they can use a street sweeper to do the original job that they said they could do. But then it comes down to maintenance and making sure that we get those street sweepers in here quarterly so that we don't have that buildup. I mean, it took me about 3 hours to clean my gutters because of 2 or 3 years of buildup. Just a thought.
And just to touch on that a little bit, so maintenance crew has gone through and hit a couple of trouble areas. Just like you mentioned, with a couple of shovels and rakes and brooms, and we've hit some trouble areas earlier on this year and last year, but there's been a lot of employees in and out of the maintenance crew, and so that's part of the reason why some of the street sweeping hasn't been too far. And we did lose our interlocal agreement with the city of West Richland. That's what really kept the streets looking good, is that they would come forwardly, like you mentioned, and they pretty much, it was like clockwork. Just they would show up, take care of the streets like within one day, and that was pretty much it.
Yeah.
So what is the resolution here? Do we let them clean the streets, or do we have the bigger sweeper come in, or?
It's not an item for approval. We can't approve anything.
So direction wise though,
Yeah, we want direction.
I would have, and this gonna fall in your maintenance guy's wheelhouse. He's got to plan a couple days a month, go around and pick sections. And then as soon as he's sure that the bulk of the gutters have been cleaned, then he's calling them street sweepers again for their maintenance sweep. So we make sure it's clean. And then we got to go into next year like we planned and start quarterly sweepings. That's the resolution.
Well, just to touch on that, having 2 to 3 guys, 8 hours a day for, X amount of days. We're gonna be at the same or more dollar amount to have a company take care of the initial street cleaning, street sweeping on the curb and gutter. So they did quote us, after the initial cleaning is done. I think the dollar amount was more like $1,500 quarterly after the initial cleaning. What we're having issues with is just basically they underestimated the task and the work and how bad the curb and gutter was gonna be. And they thought their 2 trucks were gonna be more than enough, and they weren't. So that's kind of where we're at now. Is I think after the initial cleaning, I think we jumped to a quarterly schedule and we'll be okay. But if we have 3 or 4 guys, 8 hours a day, but time and equipment, if we factor that into a dollar amount, we're at the same or more cost. So I just want to throw that out there for you guys.
Oh, well, let me think about it, but that's still my thought process on the way we should do it. It not only helps the process here, but it gets you out and gets you seeing the other problems that are in the city. It allows more of an idea in your own mind of all the issues that are out there. In my opinion, if you're able to move around the city. But that's my opinion. So I'm just one person.
I think we still need to kind of go the avenue of maybe seeing if there's a ability for us to get some funding to help us eventually purchase our own street sweeper. So as we continue to grow as a community and build more housing developments with more sidewalks and curbs and gutters, it would be nice to have one of our own to where we're not having to deal with a second party, streets sweeper. I mean, so I think definitely if we can continue to down that path, I know you brought us estimates, but maybe looking into it a little bit further and see if we can get some assistance from somebody on helping us out on a purchase of one.
Well, I agree with you in the long term.
Long
That's
term.
that's
Yep.
our end goal, but I don't think buying one today or
No.
tomorrow is gonna be the solution to this particular problem. Anybody else?
I'm having a hard time with the vendor not honoring their commitment.
Well, that's obviously
Their-
something the
their
mayor
quote.
needs to address.
Yep.
I would say that maybe we could, me and the mayor could work on trying to, talk to the vendor. That'd be step one. Talk to the vendor, see if they could honor their commitment. Let's see if we have a middle ground where we could figure this out. And then he did shoot me over some bids to bring out the bigger sweeper truck that more than likely he should have brought in the beginning, since the beginning. So we could talk to the vendor, start there, and then we'll bring it back to council for an action item for next council meeting.
I'm okay with that.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So, Jose, put a meeting schedule, please, on our calendar, so we can meet about this hopefully Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, then, the next item I have is the, union negotiations. And we're looking for, 2 members of the council that would like to, participate in those negotiations. And then we need to figure out a time with Russell.
I'm in.
I'm more than happy to participate in that.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, and for the other action as well. The
Mm.
grievance.
You
process.
just do it at the same time, or is that what you're thinking?
Maybe,
Could
I don't know.
wait.
if they will.
Mayor, could I,
Yes.
because I don't know how much that might have been plugged into the investigation, maybe that could be something that was,
Separate,
well, it could be tagged on to the
tag it
the
on.
same thing, but I think that I'd like to suggest, let's receive that report first.
Okay, before we do the other.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, so I will send around something that gives us your available time so that.
Survey monkey or something.
Yeah. So
Sure.
that you'll know. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then we have item 4 is the special meeting dates.
This is it's a special meeting because it has to be called as a meeting of the city council. And we would request that it be for the purpose of holding an executive session to receive the investigation and discuss options and alternatives with the WCIA attorney as well as legal counsel for the city.
And they want everyone to be here. want
They would like
everybody
everyone,
to be.
all the council members to be there. They've requested, or what I got is the request for sometimes within the next Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of next week. I don't know how hard that would be to do it, but that's what I was asked to see if we could do.
Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday of next week.
So 11th, 12th, or the 13th.
Not one of those days is available for me. I've got the 9th, the 16th, the 30th, and the 31st. Those are
Ninth.
my free days this month.
9th is a holiday,
Is it?
Columbus Day.
Oh, geez.
Is that a state holiday?
I just say it's not for me.
Yeah, it's not
I
for me
still have
either.
school.
Could the 9th in the evening be an option? Could they be ready by then?
I wish I knew the answer to that. That's, I was given those 3 days, but could we give me the opportunity to check tomorrow and get back with you all if I have an answer.
Yeah, and we can then go from there. If that doesn't work, we'll have to do another Survey Monkey thing, although it sounds like David is constrained to that day, the 9th.
The 16th could work too.
I got the 9, the 16. I suppose the 13th, I could bring my kids and put them in over in the conference room. But that's my night. I pick up the kids.
What day is that?
The Friday.
Friday. Okay.
I mean, I
Friday
can
the
make that
13th.
exception.
Like Sarah,
I'm not available on the 13th, unfortunately, but I'm
But you're what?
available the next 2 Mondays.
Okay. And see, I'm available both those Mondays as well.
Then let me take those dates back and see if we can put it together. I'm
Okay, so what are those dates?
the 9th or the 16th.
and what
9th,
time were we looking at?
9th or the
What times
16th?
would be convenient?
The earliest I can probably be here 6 o'clock.
Okay, that would work.
Let's shoot for 6 then.
6 o'clock on the 9th or the
16th.
16th.
Yep.
I will get back with you as quickly as I can.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think that completes our discussion items. So now we have items for approval. And we have Resolution 2023-29, approving and authorizing the mayor to execute the interlocal cooperation agreement between Benton County and the city of Benton City for inspection, operation, and maintenance of Kendall Road within Mountain View, within the Mountain View Meadows Phase 2 subdivision.
I was wondering why you were sitting up.
Yeah.
Okay, so this interlocal agreement is for the basically the maintenance, the cleanup of Kendall Road from was it Dozer? Is Dozer the last court on Kendall?
Paver.
Paver
Going that way or this way?
to the west.
Yeah, paver.
Paver up around the corner to Willow Way, because that section of Kendall is in the county. And just how the land was brought into the city.
Do they just want to annex into the city?
Well, I think long term, they would like to see the road annexed into the
It's
city.
county property, right?
Yeah, it's county right away right now.
Have you talked to them about annexing that to us?
Well,
No. Okay.
a year or two ago, yeah, they said they'd rather like to see it come into the city.
Well,
But they don't have the equipment to, clean the curbs and gutters and whatnot.
neither do we.
Yeah. Well, we're setting up for it. So,
So next time you talk to them, and see what we need to do to annex it in. Let's start that process and get it into the city.
okay. Well, I know their comp plan is coming up. I'm not sure if that comes at the same time as annexation.
Annexation should be able to be done at any time.
Yeah.
They just need to approach us and start the process.
Okay.
So let's get that taken care of. Let's get all those roads in the city and
Yeah.
we'll move forward from there.
Okay. I know one that will come up is Corral Creek also. Is that something you guys would like?
Well, I've discussed with you Corral Creek. I believe we had a meeting on that at one point. And they did pave portions of that, did they not?
I believe it's more like an oil shot, but
Okay.
it's not a true pavement, but it's
I-
something that,
So on that particular piece, I don't know how the council feels about this, but I could go either way.
okay,
It's nothing that needs to be put under our purview at this point,
right,
other than the fact that we have a business that's accessing that roadway.
right.
But I mean, eventually it will be one of those things. Yeah, so I could go either way on that one, but this one down here is essentially city at this point, other than the properties on the
Right.
other side.
Okay.
So I don't know how the rest of the council feels, but that's my 2 cents.
Do we still need the interlocal agreement in the meantime?
I would say
Yeah.
so, yeah.
I just wanted to get that out in the discussion that's where we need to be looking at. Because there's no reason to maintain an interlocal forever. If we can just annex the roadway. And just make it part of the city, then it's ours to handle, and we don't have to go ask them about things and talk to them about things. But so I'll motion to approve the resolution as written.
Second,
All in favor?
Sandra, aye.
Wadsworth, aye.
read I.
Okay.
Alcazar, I.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, and I'll get this over to the county after we sign it.
Yeah.
Okay, the next item for approval is the tree services, and Jose, I believe you're on for this one as well.
Was that table?
I believe we tabled
Tabled
it.
that.
Tabled it.
Oh, this one we tabled.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I have the wrong sheet. Okay. All right, so
Council comments, is that where we're at?
we're at council comments.
Okay, George, were you here to give a report tonight?
No.
Okay, just checking. council comments. I appreciate all the work the city staff does. And I'd like to say thank you guys again.
I agree.
I agree.
Same here.
Yep. Thank you.
Other than that, I'll motion to adjourn.
I have just one thing, Jenny. It was brought to my attention by a couple of people that the fourplex apartment buildings out there on Main Street, they're putting their garbage cans and refrigerators and mattresses and stuff out there on the walking. And so the kids are having to step into the road to get around the debris that they're setting out.
The one where there's 3 units side by side.
Is it-
Between Angeline and Ida. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the kids are having to walk around the debris that they're putting out for trash day, and some of the trash doesn't get picked up, and so it sits out there for a longer period of time. I'm not sure if there's anything that we can do or suggest maybe stepping it back a little bit so the kids can still walk safely in that area.
Yeah, and I'll go over with them what they can do and acceptable and how the trash gets picked
Perfect,
up.
thank you.
Yes.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I
Second.
second.
Wait a minute, guys, you're awful slow tonight.